Xianglu. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has called on countries to set aside differences and pursue win-win cooperation. The Chinese diplomat stressed dialogue in his address to the Munich Security Conference.
The reason why the international system is not functioning well enough lies not with the UN itself, but rather with certain countries seeking to magnify differences and disagreements and put itself above everyone else, stoke confrontation and revive the Cold War mentality. So all of these have eroded the foundation of trust, worsened the atmosphere of cooperation, and impeded the functioning of international institutions. To safeguard international collaboration and cooperation, it is important to seek common ground while shelving differences and pursue winning cooperation. The world is a diverse place. It is only natural that countries differ in social systems, history, culture, interests and demands, and it is precisely the differences that necessitate dialogue and cooperation.
Also in Munich, Wang Yi said the prospects for China-US relations are bright and the heads of state can work together to make bilateral ties better. On relations with Japan, the Chinese diplomat urged all peace-loving countries to warn Tokyo that if it chooses to walk down the path of the past, it will court its own destruction. Wang said China and Europe are partners and should pursue development together under the principles of mutual respect and learning. The foreign minister also stressed that China supports the political settlement of all regional hotspots, including the Ukraine crisis, through dialogue and negotiation. Wang Yi had a number of bilateral talks on the sidelines of the Security Conference in Munich. He told German Chancellor Friedrich Merz that the two countries should shoulder major country responsibilities to promote world peace and development, and expressed a hope that Germany will support China-EU cooperation. During talks with Czech Foreign Minister Petr Masinka, Wang said China is willing to work with the Czech Republic to steer bilateral relations back to the path of healthy development. Wang earlier met with his counterparts from Britain, Austria, Ukraine and Argentina. The People's Bank of China and 3 other government departments have issued a guideline to establish regular financial support to help prevent a relapse into poverty and advance all-around rural revitalization. It calls for improving a long-term and development-oriented financial assistance for key groups and optimizing microcredit programs for people lifted out of poverty. The guideline emphasizes the need to improve financial services for grain and edible oil production. It also called for support for the integrated development of agriculture, culture and tourism. China's State Council has approved the upgrade of the Xiong'an High-Tech Industrial Development Zone to a national-level high-tech industrial development zone. A statement says the upgraded zone will promote deeper integration between scientific and technological innovation and industrial development, while attracting high-end innovation resources from home and abroad. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has partially shut down after temporary funding for the department expired at the end of Friday. The Senate failed to advance a funding bill as Republicans and Democrats could not agree on reforming immigration enforcement regulations. Congress recently passed a package to fund multiple U.S. federal agencies for the remainder of fiscal year 2026, but the DHS only received a 2-week continuing resolution at current funding levels. Russia has announced the next round of peace talks with Ukraine and the United States will take place in Geneva next week. Kremlin aide Vladimir Medinsky is expected to lead the Russian delegation. U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will also be attending. U.S. President Donald Trump has said Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky will have to get moving as Russia wants to make a deal. However, Washington's representative to NATO says he is not convinced that Moscow will be ready for a deal. Niger's president has accused France of backing the perpetrators of an armed attack near an airport in Niamey last month. He said France has been providing weapons and equipment and financing armed groups. The president said Niger's defense and security forces neutralized 20 mercenaries and arrested 11 others during the attack. And that's the news. I'm Tina.